Okay, session is now being recorded. So yeah, again, thank you very much for joining us for the parents meeting about maths for early years and Key Stage 1. Let's find a little camera. There we go. Come on, Mr. Brian, get it together. Okay, so we've done a brief welcome and introduction, and tonight the session's going to look like this. So we're going to talk a little bit about White Rose Maths. What is it and why? It's the key scheme that we use here at St Mary Redcliffe, and I'm sure you're already well familiar with it through home learning. We're going to talk through about how you can best support at home. Okay, so a few little things, just a few little routines. Again, information you're probably well aware of, but we just want to make sure that you knew the systems and what's in place. And then a few little tips and tricks, a few little nuggets of gold that you can use in and around the home to support your child with maths. And then we're going to get on to probably the part that you're really familiar, want to know what you want to get to know a little bit more of, and that is the exciting Numberbots app and games platform, which is extremely popular nationally. And then at the end of the session, there's going to be a bit of time for questions if you have any, and an opportunity to share some feedback if you wish to do so. So I'm going to do the rather kind of the formal aspect about White Rose and the aspects within it, and then I'm going to pass over to Miss Price, who will talk about more about home learning and the other little zesty bits that you can do to support maths at home. So White Rose, what is it? So White Rose, its aim is in order to support our young learners with their journey towards maths mastery. All right, that's what it's existed to do. It's not an easy journey, maths. I'm sure you'll all agree. But what White Rose does, it breaks problems down and different aspects of maths into chunks. That there is many different ways in order to get to maths mastery. And I've put maths mastery in bold and underlined it because I'm sure some of you are thinking, what on earth is maths mastery? Well, essentially, it means is someone, a child, a person, to have a deeper understanding of maths. Now, historically, the old maths curriculum was about, right, you've learnt numbers up to 1,000. Now you're going to get pushed on to even bigger numbers. Those days are gone under the old curriculum, maths curriculum. What this curriculum and what maths mastery is all about is, yes, okay, so you've learned the place value of numbers up to 1,000. But this time, we're going to ask you to solve a number of problems, a variety of problems, so that it can deepen your understanding of numbers up to 1,000, for example. And this may require looking at numbers in a different representation. It challenges children in order to think differently mathematically. There's a variety of problems, which I'll discuss shortly. And what kind of underpins this is the fluency. Again, I'll explain that in a minute. But why White Rose? Why White Rose? Well, we've been a part of the White Rose journey for over 4 years. It's a tried and tested system that's really well renowned across the country, and we are proud to have been a part of the White Rose journey when it effectively first started, when it was starting to build up speed. It is now massively used across the country in schools, but also in terms of the home learning support. And recently they won the best learning company as a part of the Best Fest, BetFest awards, okay? And just to put into context, White Rose actually beat off competition from BBC, Manga High and Oxford University Press. And it's because of the level of materials that they've put on to support a school and families at home, okay? I'm also proud to say, as well as a co-maths lead, that having looked at the feedback from our families, maths is definitely the area that we hear the most amount from in terms of children submitting in work and following the scheme as it goes. It just shows how clear and simple it is, although there are some really challenging questions. Okay, so White Roads, our scheme of work, essentially splits our problems into three key areas. We start at the bottom. So we've got fluency in facts, procedures, and concepts. The middle aspect, the kind of the jam of our sandwich, is the mathematical reasoning. And then I'll go through and explain what these areas are and how this relates to you at home. And then at the tip of the iceberg, we have problem solving. So fluency, by definition of the national curriculum, it involves knowing key mathematical facts and being able to recall them quickly and accurately. So in early years, very simply, it's being able to count, knowing very simple number bonds. And you can see here a number of questions that are linked to fluency. So you can play a game called Bunny Ears. So using two hands, how many ways can you make the number 5? So you can have 1 on one finger and 4 on the other, for example. The question in the bottom left-hand corner is more linked to year 1. So it's linking. When I talk about representation and pictures, this is exactly what it's about. We've got a piece of what's called a pneumocon, which is the apparatus with the holes in. And then you've kind of got something called base 10 or beans. Again, we use that quite a lot in school. Or simply, we've got pictures of apples. And then the bottom right-hand corner, you've got a variety of pictures, and it simply says there are groups of pencils. And it's just simply being able to look at a picture or being able to quickly recall a fact, addition facts, subtraction facts, times tables, and being able to recite them nice and quickly. So it really is the foundation aspect of all mathematical understanding. In early years, for example, you tend to do a lot of this via play. In year 1, there's an increased emphasis on place value, knowing what each digit in a number represents. And then when you get into year 2, you get to really play and experiment with other mathematical concepts like statistics and geometry involving shape. So sometimes you hear about these different definitions, and we use these all the time in school, and you probably see the problems when learning at home. You have your concrete. Now, concrete actually means your physical resource, something that you can pick up and use. Ms. Price is going to talk about some of the things that you could use around the home that will help with the support of fluency whilst using concrete resources. Pictorial is simply, your pictures on a piece of paper, drawing 9 apples. If I add 9 apples and I have another apple, then that equals 10 apples. So just simply pictures on a piece of paper. And then the abstract is very much your old school basic number sentences without something like a concrete resource, something physical, or a picture on a piece of paper. And it's good to experiment between those 3 things. Now, reasoning has been a really massive focus for us as a school in recent years. And it is really the bridge between the fluency, which is the kind of quick mental recall of math problems, and the problem solving. So it allows the pupils to bridge the fluency and the problem solving. And it usually means that the learner looks at a problem and has to explain their reasons for their answer. Sometimes there are more than one answer, but it's such a good opportunity to discuss and share ideas. And I really do encourage you at home when you're learning these activities. And sometimes, me personally, when I've taught lessons, the children get really excited about a reasoning problem where it asks you to explain why or justify. Can you go deeper with your understanding? And I can spend a whole lesson in talking about it with the children. Well, if that's true, how about this? And we go away and we explore it together. Or tell me a little bit more. How do you know? Can you use these items on the table, these little counters, in order to share with me your thinking? So you've got a couple of examples down here at the bottom. So you've got Dora and Rosie are making hay bundles. Who has made the equal groups, and explain how you know. And you might say, well, Dora, I can see she's got 3 groups of hay bales. or bundles, and in each bundle there are 3 individual haystacks, whereas Rosie, I can see she's got 2 groups. Hang on, well actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the left group, but there's actually 5 in the right. Oh, so that's different. So the question asks, who's made equal groups? Well, I know that Dora has made the equal groups because there's 3 in each group, whereas Rosie, in one of the groups, there's 1 more hay bale than the other. So it's just engaging in that level of conversation. And then the other question to the right is circle the odd one out and explain why. Odd one out questions are phenomenal. They really get children buzzing, getting really excited to talk about the learning. Because often with these, there's more than one answer. Apologies for the clap. I'm just getting really excited about this. Love talking about maths. Okay, now problem solving. So we talked about the fluency, which is the really quick, fast, mental recall, simple facts. The reasoning, it's all about talking about, how do you know? Tell me a little bit more. Problem solving is not just word problems in maths. It's about finding the ways that you've learned through the fluency and applying your skills in a variety of different problems that the children may be unfamiliar with. And I have to say, in my experience, as teaching maths across the school, across all year groups, this is the bit that really unsticks to pupils. And it's often we spend a lot of time on these types of questions, and that is okay. That's a real mindset thing about spending real good quality on problems like these to really unpick their understanding. And it's not a case of that some pupils only get to answer problem solving questions, not at all. Everybody should be able to have the opportunity to answer these questions. And usually if a child says, Mr. Fry, I'm really stuck, I'm like, first of all, I go, brilliant, excellent, I love a challenge. This is where we have to put on our thinking hats and really unpick the problems. Okay, and yes, these questions tend to be a little bit wordier, so it's important to really unpick them carefully and talk about it. Play with the maths, experiment, kind of like what we do in science. Okay, so we talked about fluency, we talked about reasoning, and we talked about problem solving, which are kind of the 3 main areas within White Rose, and how that enables our children to develop this deeper understanding of maths, this mastery approach to maths. So what we're going to move on to now, Ms. Price is going to share a bit about the home learning, in case you don't know the bits and pieces that are within it, and a few other tips and tricks and other little bits that you can use to support your children at home. Ms. Price?
Thanks, Mr. Fry. So hopefully you've all managed to kind of access this, because I think last week was the first week that we made the links within the timetable on the portal that took you straight to where maybe the videos were, or maybe where the actual learning was, the work, all those different kind of things. So you'll see on the screen here that obviously this is part of a timetable, and clicking on the link will take you to the different areas. So thanks, Mr. Fry.
My pleasure.
That's one. So some of the links will take you across to the page of White Rose Home Learning, relevant to your year group, to make the videos. These videos are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We use them in school, not just for home learning. We've used quite a few videos before this lockdown, and the children have really commented on them. They like the fact that we can stop, we can pause, we can discuss exactly like you guys can at home. And they like the fact that they can refer back to it, and it's very visual for them. So you're going to be taken across to the page with one of the videos, and a lot of the work set is related directly to that video. And as Mr. Fry said earlier, we've got White Rose got this amazing award, and this is partly why, because of the support it gives teachers in helping learning from home. And the imagery that they use is fantastic. They use a selection. They help you with the fluency, they help you along with the reasoning, and they help you along with the problem solving. So it's all encompassing what it is. So you'll find that. Yes, please, Mr. Fry.
Excellently put there, Ms. Price. And I just want to repeat exactly what you've said there about how we as staff in schools prior to the lockdown, we were really making use of these videos.
We named the person. We even named the person. We call her in year 6, we call her Barbara.
Barbara. Can't safely say that she sounds like a Barbara, but a good name nonetheless.
Yeah, it sounds like a Barbara.
And what the feedback has been from a lot of the teachers, it's been fantastic to be able to play the video, stand back, watch the children interact with the video, and then be able to provide on-the-spot feedback and support where they look and feel a little bit stuck. So the things that you are seeing and using at home are really linked carefully with the practice that we are using in school and will continue to use at school, which is, again, we were able to use it during the last lockdown, and it really supported the children when they return back to school. You ready for the next slide there, Ms. Price?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just going to say that is one of the consistencies between the homeschooling and what is happening at school with the key worker children at the moment. So it's not separate. This is exactly what they're doing. Now, often it will say things like, you know, go and get the counters, go and get the base 10. And I have no idea about you. I do not have them in my house. Sorry, don't have them. There are so many other things, though, that you can use to help your child with their learning. And it is as simple as things like going to your cupboard, getting tins out. And they can use the tins. They can use the tins for counting, for weighing, for separating, any kind of operation you're kind of thinking of. You've got cups you could use for sharing. You could use any of the operations you want. Lids. You've got saucepans. Might be a little bit loud. Don't give them anything to hit it with, but you can get with that one. Your recycling box. There are so many things within the recycling box which you can use. And you go back to the traditional pasta. Lego. Lego is an amazing one to use, especially when you've got the different colours. You can put them all together. You can separate them. And things like the calendar. I know that seems really bizarre sometimes, but actually you've got sequences of numbers. It helps counting in 2s, 5s, 10. It knows what one more is, one less is. It helps with the days of the week. It helps with the months, how things progress. So anything like that at home is fantastic. Pens, pencils, it doesn't have to be counters, base 10, anything along those lines. And when we talk about base 10, it's what I used to call, back in the last century, it used to be deans. We used to have a stick that's worth 10, a tiny cube that is worth 1, a grid for 100, and then an actual cube for 1,000. You can do that with bottles. The bottle lids can be worth 1. One bottle could be worth 10. And then you can show the difference in the amount of place value then. There are so many things. Don't be afraid to use anything you have your hands on. You can get your hands on, sorry. It doesn't have to be traditional mathematical equipment. Next one, Mr. Fry, please. And also, maths doesn't have to be done sat at a table watching Barbara or whoever the year's equivalent is. There are so many little things that you can do for maths, but if you're able to get out for your 5-10 minute walk, absolutely brilliant. A lot of children associate maths with sitting down and learning something new. A lot of the time they don't realise they're using their math skills every day. So this is just one option that you guys can do. You know, when you go out on a walk, find some number plates. Just write them down, like literally as that. Talk about what are the numbers you can see in there. Are there any odd numbers? Are there even numbers? Just these little bits of conversation enable the children to use all of that knowledge that they've learnt, and it's just keeping it fresh in their mind. But it's not necessarily doing it in the context of a maths lesson. Okay. There are so many different ideas that you can do on this. You know, they can add the digits together. Brilliant. What's the total? Order the digits. What's the largest? What's the smallest? You know, you can make 3-digit numbers, 2-digit, what, depending on where your child is, what year. Absolutely fantastic. You could use the letters, turn them into numerical value along the alphabet. So a J is worth 10. There's so many different things that you can do just with a number plate. Yes, please, Mr. Fry. And it's like the street names, maybe your street name, maybe the street names that you find out on a walk. Okay, you just collect a couple of them. Again, it goes back to, are there does it have an odd number of letters, an even number of letters? Getting the children to recognize the difference between the odds and evens in a different context just really sort of like enables them to get a true understanding of what an odd number means, what it looks like. You can totally go with English with it as well, link both, because they don't think they're doing maths in that situation. You know,
Tricking the children.
Sorry, sir?
Tricking the children into learning.
Yeah, I was putting it in a different way, but totally tricking them, totally. Like how many, sorry, now you've lost my train of thought, sir. With the street names, you know, how many have more than one vowel? What is a vowel? How many vowels are there? Okay, there's lots of different ways that you can do it. You can compare them, even if they don't know what a vowel is, a consonant. Doesn't matter, you can compare how many letters there are. What's the shortest street name you can find on your walk today? What's the longest? Can you order them? There's lots of different things that you can do with those as well. They think it's a game, but they're actually reinforcing their mathematical understanding. Brilliant. Yes, please, Mr. Fry. This is a nice one as well. Absolutely. We are so lucky to be close to like Vickie Park. There's play parks everywhere. So nice if we can get out and about. So it's a case of literally go out, take a carrier bag, collect a certain number of things. We've got 25 here, but actually in EYFS, you might just want to count to 10 to begin. Count to 10 to begin with, just to secure that 1 to 10. Okay, then they've got to sort it. Maths isn't all about numbers in the respect of can you count, can you add, can you subtract. It's also about sorting them, classifying them, identifying them, measuring them. Not necessarily with a ruler. You can just do it from observation. Year 1 and 2, absolutely. You've got a ruler at home, brilliant. But there are many, many more aspects of maths rather than just counting, times tables, adding, subtract, all of those. So this is an amazing one to do. Yes, please, Mr. Fry. Oh, yeah. And I don't know about you, but this lockdown seems to be busier on the roads. And for this, it's perfect because of the colours of cars. Okay, you can tally up. It's all statistics as well. You can tally up how many different colour cars you see, how many red cars you're going to see, how many blue. Okay, pick a colour each, count it. Can you do it? Can you put them into a chart? Oh, thank you very much. Can you put them in a chart? You don't have to draw the chart. You could use Lego or anything of different colours to represent it. Okay, you can say statements about it. Oh, I've seen 5 red cars, but only 3 blue cars. You can think about, okay, well, what's the difference? How many more red cars? There's a lot of discussion that can happen within this as well. I'm really sorry, I forgot to put my phone on silent. Not a good one. Okay, so there's lots of different discussion points around it, not just writing it down. Maths is a lot about discussion, which it never used to be in the old curriculum, but this is much better for cementing their understanding. Yes, please, sir. I can't remember what it says. Now we're Numberbots. Now, I know that EYFS and I think year 1 have already been given some login details for this, and year 2s are coming out next week. I just wanted to explain to you about Numberbots a bit. What we did is we brought in a program called Timetable Rock for Key Stage 2, which was a program to help them with their multiplication tables. Because, as everyone knows, having a real solid base for multiplication tables helps you as you go through the school. For EYFS and Key Stage 1, one of your aims, one of your targets that we're achieving is actually the really secure understanding of number bonds and the relationship between each other. So Numberbots is actually based for Key Stage 1 and early years, and it's literally all about number. We've had very good reviews, Mr. Fry, haven't we, about this?
Yeah, absolutely. When we announced that we were going to do Times Table Rockstars, there was a lot of questions about Numberbots. I know Numberbots are affiliated, so yes, it was always our intention in order to kind of do the Numberbots, but we wanted to share this presentation when all the children were in school to generate a bit of excitement, to dress up as some of the characters potentially, but obviously we are not able to do that, so we felt the need to really let's get this out now, so it gives parents and carers and children another opportunity to practice their maths at home. Would you like me to stop sharing the screen now, Ms. Price? So
yes, please, sir. That'll be perfect. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do now is I don't know if any of you have managed to go on yet, but I was just going to take you through just some of the really, really simple ideas that it enables. So I'm hoping, Mr. Fry, can I share screen? Should be able to, shouldn't I?
If you go down to the...
Oh, right, yeah, there we are. Give me 2, here we go. I'm hoping this will work. Can you see it, sir?
Yeah, well done, Miss Price. Good job.
Perfect. You know, when you're suddenly doing this, going, I'm hoping you can go. So even though you will be logging on to Numberbots, it still will come up with Times Table Rocks because they are affiliated. Okay, but you will access the Numberbots. So if I go to play, the screen is this. Now there are 2 options. You can either go for the story option or the challenge option. For a week or so, it's about exploration. The teachers will then be able to set certain limits on it, okay? And it doesn't mean, it means that they want you to really, really secure that understanding before moving on. The old curriculum was all about, let's move on how quickly you can get on to the next level. This is not like it. We know that this isn't good for anybody. And it's definitely not good for the children coming up through. So if we go on to story, so you can see there are different levels. So starting at the 1, oh gosh, I've already played it, so that's why I've got that one. Okay, there are lots of different games you can do. So this one is literally add 1 to the purple number and tap the answer. It's about, there's a lot of numbers on here, but actually there's the 4. I've got to put 5, tap the answer. It's tapping it, it's getting that understanding of what 1 more looks like. Oh, and then I earn a badge. I quite like my badges. Okay, there's lots to do with the story. Sorry, but I only got 2 stars. And what's really good is repeating it again. Can you get this 3 out of 3? It's not as easy as it seems trying to get 3 out of 3. The challenge modes go all the way back. Okay, so you have got adding and subtracting 1 and 2 from numbers within 10, number bonds to 5. Now you might think, oh yeah, my child knows their number bonds to 5. It's not a problem at all. But actually, it's about that quick recall as well. So if you go to that. So you have got a timer up here. You've got 1 minute. How many can you do? Oh, how many can you do within it? And you think, oh, that's fine. And they're oops, and they're off. And when you get to this, it's about this is the fluency part that Mr. Fry was talking about earlier on. To get that really, really secure knowledge. I will stop now.
So, are you, Miss Price? Are you typing on your computer keys to put the answers in there? You are.
Yeah. I'm typing on the numbers on my keyboard and I'm pressing enter, which is and that works on all of the devices that I've tried them on. I haven't tried it on a phone, admittingly. But on iPads and computers, it works. It works very well. There are lots to explore, like I said. Okay, it's not just, sorry, you don't have to start with one, but you can build it up. And what the children really like is very similar to Times Table Rock, is after doing this, you gain coins. So I've got 408 at the moment. Oops. So there are different badges that you can do. It will show you the money, but if you customize it as well, this is the bit they like. This is the bit that they try and earn the money for. Okay, this is all to do with earning the coins so they can get their buddy to what they actually want to look like. So actually, I need at least another 300 to get any of them. But you can customize it. They enjoy doing that element of it. It is really, really good fun. Really good fun. So I think you'll have a great time doing it. The children will enjoy it. The Times Table Rock, we've got challenged. The teachers have been challenged quite a lot by the students. It's interesting, shall we say.
It's got to the stage where I've had to have a quiet word with Mr. Hewitt to stop staying up so late in completing the levels of Times Table Rock Stars. So yeah, we hope that you and your children enjoy that new feature. As I said, most of you should already have login details for your child. But if you have yet to receive your login details, especially in early years in year one, please ask your teacher through the portal email. Okie dokie. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop recording.